Next up, at UFC Denver, we have Christian C-Rod Rodriguez taking on Julian Erosa. Christian Rodriguez, 11-1 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5, riding a 4-fight win streak. He's taking on Julian Erosa. Tried and true, 29-11. Julian Erosa, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off a bounce-back win. Christian Rodriguez has been the prospect buster for a while now. He's got 3 big wins in a row, 3 big wins over UFC prospects. And that's how he's built his career so far, beating prospects. He is a slick striker. He's got solid movement. He's got good speed. Some of the best composure we've seen. Almost so composed that it looks like he doesn't care. He's just chilling, hanging out. What he has done masterfully in his last couple of fights is not get frustrated after being taken down relentlessly. What he has not done masterfully is won clear fights. 2 of those wins he missed weight. The last win was one of the weirdest decisions I've ever seen in my entire life.
One of the most, don't say weird, one of the most fucking bullshit, asinine, cunt-filled decisions I've ever seen in my fucking life. What the fuck was that?
You know what's funny? All the people, and there's still a wild amount of people who bet on C-Rod and therefore their bet hit, and they're like, oh, and then they just go to stats where 3 significant, like it's all done. Here's how you know it was a bad decision. Everybody in this direction is yelling, bad decision, people defending it like crazy. If Isaac Dogarian was given the decision, if he won 29-28, which is what should have happened, if he won 29-28 in that last fight, not a single person on this planet would cry that that was a bad decision. Nobody. Nobody would say. None of the C-Rod bettors would say that was a bad decision. They got away with one, and they feel like they need to defend it. And I get it. That happens. I've gotten away with some on the other side as well. So I totally get it. But point here was Christian Rodriguez has an asterisk next to every single one of those wins. And the last time he fought an actual veteran, the last time he fought somebody that wasn't a young prospect, he lost. And he's fighting a guy that is not a young prospect. He's fighting Julian Erosa. This guy is insanely long for this weight class. He uses his length really well, both on his feet and on the ground. He's a very well-rounded guy. He's got high output striking. He lands more than 6 significant strikes per minute. Solid wrestling at almost 2 takedowns per fight. He is dangerous absolutely everywhere. He is an absolute dog. And he is coming off that bounce-back win over Ricardo Ramos, where he snatched up a guillotine early. I mentioned the last time Christian didn't fight a young prospect, he lost. Julian's a very dangerous guy. He's an absolute dog. Christian is not dangerous at all. He's not even a little bit dangerous, but he is very composed. He does have incredible cardio. The odds have Christian as -2-1 favorite. They're widening a little bit, right? It tightened. -325 to open's nuts. That tightened, and now it's starting to inch back out. I do think Christian wins this fight, despite my reluctance on the fact that he didn't win his last fight and he has weight misses in his 2 wins before that. I do think he wins this fight because he is a durable guy. He is a very composed guy, and I think he can just sort of outwork Julian. I don't think he's going to get caught in some slick submission or anything like that Julian's going to throw up. But I don't think this is going to be the absolute straightforward beating that a lot of people think. Christian Rodriguez is going to be the pick, but I don't think I'm going to do anything at these odds. We haven't seen him with an actual win at featherweight that wasn't egregious. What do you think, Jakey boy?
You know, this was the year that I said that I was going to put fucking biases aside, Angelo. And, you know, fuck it. If I was ever going to do it, I think this is the fight to do it because I fucking hate C-Rod. I just fucking, and that's not like as a person or whatever, that's just as a fighter, and it's not his fault, right? I mean, he's not the judge, right? But obviously I'm going to hate the guy because he fucking cost me my lock of the week, and that was I fucking love Isaac, man, and that was going to be a big win. He dominated, and everyone's like, oh, he's going to gas after round 1, and he went through 2 rounds and a little, until he started to gas or whatever.
1 10/12 of a round.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was like, so I was excited to watch that second round being like, oh, I told you he's not going to gas. He's going to finish this guy. And then he started gassing or whatever and ended up being what it was. But I'm putting my biases side, and I'm picking C-Rod because I do think that his just methodical style it bodes so well for this type of fight. Not only that, but people talk about the submission game of Julian Erosa. If he starts chasing submissions, he's probably just going to end up on his back, and then C-Rod's going to scramble and probably take his back because that's just what C-Rod does in those type of situations. But even if he can't, I just think that methodical style is going to be enough to win him rounds and maybe even find a late finish on a guy like Julian Erosa. Just like he almost finished Isaac Dolgarian, I think he had that same type of attack against Julian Erosa, and we'll see how it plays out, but I've been debating on whether I'm going to put this in premium or not, but I put a minus 3.5 bet on C-Rod because I think there's a finish ability there late, and I think he can control him for all 3 rounds, and it's plus money. It's plus 100, so I got that minus 200 to all the way down to plus 100. So I put like $100 of my own money on that, and I don't know if I'm going to put that in premium yet, but that's what I'm playing. I knew I wanted some action on C-Rod. And I think if he wins this fight, he has opportunity to really kind of dominate it with his kind of methodical style. So I'll take the plus 100 on the minus 3.5 and see how it plays out. But C-Rod's my pick.
You're not worried that he's a weight bully and he's not going to be able to do that here and he's going to struggle a little bit?
I mean, the technique's there. I mean, even though he's a weight bully, it's not like he looks like he's just a guy that's just running people over, right? I mean, you could tell even in the striking, the technique's there, but even the takedowns and the grappling, the scrambles, that's the weight wasn't doing anything in those fights. He was techniquing people.
No, listen, I agree. I picked him as well, and I also am not a tremendous fan because of all the asterisks. And this would be his first, uncontested, great, is assuming he makes weight.
And I would love nothing more. Honestly, I would fucking love if he got screwed
to lose that bet.
And typically, I've mentioned this before. I've made bets specifically on fights I was a little bit unsure on, basically based on karma type situations. And C-Rod's got to pay that debt, man. It's funny how the world works. Karma. I mean, literally, you'll see fighters get a bad decision and then they get a wishy one on their side or vice versa or whatever. C-Rod's going to have to pay that debt eventually. And it might be this weird altitude, close fight, and he loses a split decision because he's due. He's got to pay that debt eventually.
I'm looking forward to it. This fight will answer a lot of questions. I am looking forward to this. I'm not going to spend the $8,900 in DraftKings because while there is, it's funny. It's not that C-Rod has the finishing ability upside. It's that Julian can be finished because C-Rod's not particularly dangerous. So I'm not going to spend $8,900 on a guy who I do think wins, but I think he most likely wins a decision by avoiding weird scrambles, not getting his neck snatched.
I think he's a more finishing ability than people realize. I mean, you're talking about Raul Rosas, who is not a fucking quitter and is really good, right? So he
was a quitter in that fight, though. He gassed.
Yeah, but
he was so young. He didn't quit, but he had nothing left.
He didn't just give up. He wasn't. Most people in that situation, that tired, just give up submissions, right? And C-Rod was there threatening submissions, but he never. Then he fights Cameron Saman. We know how fucking tough Cameron Saman is. I mean, he fucking ate that knee. I know he got finished by Peyton Talbot, but that knee was like, I was in the arena. It would sound like a fucking shotgun. He just fucking that guy's a very fucking durable guy, so that's a tough guy to finish. And then Isaac showed how fucking durable. I mean, he almost got finished as well, but showed how durable he is as well. So I know he hasn't been getting the finishes, but I think that's more about the people he's been fighting, and I think he's definitely live for a finish here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think so, but I can see where you're coming from. $8,900 in DraftKings. I'm probably not going to spend that. $7,300 in Julian. You want to shoot your shot? Throw him in a multi-entry long shot tournament play to get the giant payout. Then that's your jam, and see what the optimizer does. We have a DraftKings fantasy optimizer that will literally build lineups for you, and our community has won over $500 and some odd $1,000 using our tools, our insight, our picks, and our DraftKings fantasy stuff to build their own lineups. Go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. You'll unlock everything you ever wanted or needed for an entire month. 4 events, one low price of $10. Couple of super chats.
Somebody said, too, just real quick before you put that over my face, somebody said Vanessa Demopoulos wins a ton of decisions she lost, which is true. And I mentioned sometimes you just have bad karma coming your way or good karma, vice versa. I mean, she has so much good karma built up for her time on the stage. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of, you know how many people she's made happy over the years, time on the stage, on that pole. That's so much fucking good karma. She's got, of course she's won 7 split decisions in a row. You know how many people she's pleased and made their lives better? That's good karma, guys, and that's why she's being rewarded. Karma is not a bitch. She's a mirror.
Okay. Back to this. Thanks again, Brayan, for the $99.99. Carter Harrington donated $6.99 Canadian. Said, could this be the worst card of the year on paper? I don't think so. This is actually a decent card. I just did the graphics for next week. That's not a... Listen, the worst card we have ever seen was the Perez Nicolau main event. That card was dog shit. And the card Jacob went to, the last Rose Namajunas card...
That ended up being an incredible card. That was a great card.
The fights were incredible. We're just talking...
I mean, they had Peyton Talbot, they had Yusuf Zalal, they had Muhammad Usman, they had Julian Erosa, that had Ricardo Ramos, that had fucking Miles Johns, who was a co-main a few weeks ago. That had a lot of people. That actually did have some decent names on it.
Well, the Nicolau Perez card was like legitimately the worst card I've ever seen on paper. This one's, I actually think this is a good card. There's a lot of really good matchups, especially the late edition
I think the late editions and putting stuff together, and I think it's not a bad card. But I don't know if I'm going to be streaming it, because watching fucking Muslim and Santiago Ponzinibbio at 11 o'clock at night, 11:30, it'll be at midnight when that fight gets over. It'll be like, fuck, man. And then watching Tracy just maul Rose for 25 minutes.
That fight could end super fast, though. But anyway, Diaz Auto Detailing, $1.99. Shout out Jacob on the Brazil parlay that he posted for UFC 303. You know what's really funny about that? So obviously, you guys all know by now, if you've seen the vlog, we went to UFC 303. We did the VIP. There was a couple of premium members there. Michael, and I forget the other gentleman's name. They came up to us in the line for VIP. Hey, actually, the way he came up to me was funny, because at that point, we had people come up for a couple of days.
Oh, you were used to it by now.
No, meaning all different ways, but mostly it's Angelo. Like, that was mostly it.
And you would go,
he came
picture.
Up, he came up, I don't think he said anything, just looked at me and then showed me his Instagram that he was like a follower. And I said, on Instagram? So there's two of them. One of them follows, like, discovered us on Instagram. The other one on TikTok. Two of the platforms that we have, like, I was shocked. Anyway, we ended up spending...
I'm big on TikTok.
We ended up spending a good amount of time with the both of them because we were in that...
Awesome dudes.
Yeah, they were fantastic. He's the dude in the video that got his...
Good old balls.
He's the dude in
You couldn't really relate. I saw you kind of struggling to relate to them at times, but I worked right in. I was right there. They both gave me their phones, and I put just random parlays in both of their phones. And
That's what I was going to say.
They both fucking cashed out huge.
That's what I was going to say. So where this was coming from is Diaz.
The parlay,
Yeah, Diaz, thank you for the Brazil parlay. He asked me, Michael's like, all right, give me some bets. And I was like, dude, I'm not the one. Like, I gave him the safe. I'm like, it's the safety parlay. Like, that's it. I'm conservative Ange. Jacob's like, yeah, I'll give you some fucking bet. Just started scribbling bullshit in every single one of those bets.
He said, I don't care what. He's like, I don't care what you do. And I think the other guy tailed him as well. He's like, I don't care what you do. Just put whatever in my phone. So I'm just on his phone like this and this and this and this. And he's like, dude, I won like $500 or something like that.
Oh, it was crazy. And actually, that was funny because I remember when you had that realization, you're like, holy shit, those dudes made a fortune off these picks.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, yeah. No, that was cool.
While we were at the stadium, I was like, holy shit, I forgot. I made all those fucking parlays from it. And because my picks, the only one I missed was Bueno Silva. And that was just I didn't trust her anyway, so.
I was on the same flight home as Macy Chesson. She's actually super cool. Anyway.
You talked to her?
I just said congratulations, and she was like real cool about it. She's like, thanks. Like, just like super cool. And I didn't like go up to her. She was walking past me, and we made eye contact. They said, "Oh, congratulations." She goes, "Thanks." Like, just super cool. But,
just like that. I mean, that's how you were treating the people that were coming up to you Saturday night.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Angelo, can I get a beer? No, but. Thanks.
No, but I offered everybody a drink. Well, VIP didn't matter; those drinks were free.
Yeah, the one guy was like.
I'm sober. Like, my bad, dude. I'm sorry.
Like, oh, geez. You're like, yeah, but come on, I'll get you one.
Yeah, what's
just one?
It's
just one. It's Vegas. Come on, it's Vegas.
Don't
do that, guys.
Anyway,
don't joke about sobriety. It's not a joke.
Before I move on here, if that guy that we just told the story about that Jacob went on, if you watch the vlog, he's the one that gets kicked and choked out in the vlog.
He thought he was getting choked out, but did you know that story?
That he let go right before he was fully out.
No, so
that he was unconscious, and you told him it was an hour, and he was like,
"That's not where
what?
I'm going." So you don't know what I'm about to say.
Right.
So he asked Cody Garbrandt to choke him out, and Cody Garbrandt was like, "We're not supposed to," and then was like, "Fuck it, get on the ground, I'll do it." And then, but Cody didn't. He thought he was out, but he wasn't all the way out. So he found another guy to choke him out. he thought the guy was another UFC employee.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Or whatever. So it wasn't until the next night that guy came up again that choked him out. We were all talking, whatever. He's like, so what do you do with the UFC? He's like, I don't work for the UFC. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm just here with you guys. I'm just a fan. He's like, what the fuck? I thought you worked for the UFC. So this random guy that just happened to be UFC or in the VIP as well was like, I'll fucking choke you out if you want. He got him on the ground, threw hooks in and everything, and fucking put him out cold.
I forgot about. Yeah, I remember.
Because I was like, he's out. He's out. It's like, Jesus, you fucking holding on to that thing. He's not going to tap.
Funny.